Hello,
Hello, welcome to Let's Build with
Ellen.
and Dustin. What are we talking about this week, Ellen?
We're talking about housewarming party and move-in.
So brief recap. We've went through a lot of steps
We have.
to get to this point.
We have.
And people that might have missed us the last couple weeks because we've been busy planning a house.
Yeah.
So we've went through the your way, the firm price, and we're halfway through the on time.
Correct.
So last week we talked about that big set day party. Or the last episode.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say
last
week.
episode.
Last episode. We got to start talking about things in episodes, not weeks.
Yeah.
So last episode was set day party, and that when somebody sets a house and the neighbors leave and they come back, they're going to be like, holy crap, there's a house.
There's a house.
It wasn't there before.
Right.
And we are having games. We're having a cookout.
Right.
We're having fun that first day of that set.
Correct.
Because really that's when the major parts of everything happens. So, housewarming party. Tell us about a housewarming party.
So a housewarming party, typically people think of like your classic housewarming party of you invite your friends over and they can see your new house, which is exactly what it is. But
I was going to say, usually that happens like a week or two, or about a week after you move in, doesn't it?
right,
With
because
boxes everywhere?
Right. So what we do is we are going to throw a housewarming party for you. You know, we're going to get some drinks, some snacks. You know, it's not going to be a full cookout or anything like that, but we're going to have a little housewarming, open house. It can be an open house style. It can be whatever you want it to be. But we're going to do that after your house is complete. Your house has been cleaned, but before you start moving in.
So there's not tables and chairs and
right. We'll have some like
couches
bag chairs and stuff like that for people to sit down, but your house is going to be clean and there's not boxes everywhere. So you can show off your new home. And yeah, it might not be decorated or anything yet, but people will still see your house.
Right.
And they're going to really see your house. They're not your house. They're going to see your home for what it is and not just be looking at your stuff.
Right.
So we're gonna throw that party for you. Obviously, you can have your own once you're all settled and moved in. But we're gonna throw that housewarming party, and we'll probably invite some clients that are thinking about and stuff like that. Obviously, it's up to the homeowner if that's okay. But we'll walk some people through and all that. But it's a chance for you to show off your house before it's a disaster. That's how I like to think of it.
Your house before a disaster?
The disaster of moving.
Well, yeah. It is hard because most of the time, even like being in real estate, every time we do open houses, it's stuff's everywhere. And the clients that we're doing open houses for has to worry about like, did I get everything picked up? Is there this out? Is there that out? Whereas with this, it's before, like what you said, it's before they move in. There's boxes everywhere. The hassle of moving in, the headaches of moving in. It's before all that. So then all the construction debris is gone. The construction's cleaned up. So it's a move-in ready house. But then even after this housewarming party, we're going to do another spot clean.
Right, yeah. We'll run through.
Make sure that it's cleaned up after the housewarming party.
Yeah. And even I just thought of this too of like, I know when I bought my first house and I was doing renovations and people were, I want to come see it. And then once I finished, I hadn't moved all my stuff in yet. And I want to come see it. I want to see it. And I was like, it gets overwhelming because, and even just thinking about in real estate, people are, trying to move and stuff like that. And there's somebody who maybe can't help you move because they got to work or whatever. But after work, they're like, hey, I want to come over and see the new place. Well, you're trying to get your life put back together and stuff. And so it's just an opportunity for people to come and see it without you being stressed.
Yeah.
Because we're going to take care of the drinks. We're going to take care of the food. We are going to host this party and you just get to sit back and enjoy.
Yeah. You're just going to interact with the guests, say, hey, thanks for shopping in. Like,
right.
We show them and kind of show them the highlights of it.
Right.
But yeah, like what you just said, like people, they're stressed about moving in because some of these people might have stuff in storage units or in a storage pod or whatever because their house sold quicker if they were selling one. They weren't ready for it to sell in a day with multiple offers.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, oh crap, now where do we go? So it's just a great opportunity to showcase your house.
Right.
And not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
What else is there on it? It's really a small topic, which is hard.
Yeah, it really is. And I think as far as people who are not building with a Wausau builder, we always like to touch on that.
Yeah.
Ask your builder, even if, maybe they don't host it. That's just, they can. And it would be awesome if they did. But and this is going to be a very stereotypical comment, I'm just going to say it, but a lot of times in construction and stuff like that, you're dealing with a lot of men who maybe hosting a party isn't their specialty.
Right. Just like the set day party when the framing's happening and everything else.
Right. And so maybe that's just not their specialty, but I would even recommend, even if you've already been handed the keys, that day, I know you're antsy to get into your house and everything like that, but throw a housewarming party. Have people come see your house when it's clean and all cleaned up. Not saying that you're going to keep a dirty house, but you don't have moving boxes everywhere and all that stuff. So, and ask your builder to maybe try and do something like that. And even it's, hey, can we do this together?
Right.
And stuff. But it's not that big of an ask to ask your builder to do it for you and stuff like that. But just if that's, like I said, sometimes not going to be their strong suit. So there's other ways to get around it.
Builders, should recognize that by holding a housewarming party for a house that you just completed is a great marketing opportunity because of the fact that you can showcase what you just did.
Absolutely.
Not just, oh yeah, I built that house as you're driving down the street showing prospective clients.
Right.
You can actually say, hey, on Friday, come to this house. We're going to have a housewarming party. We're going to have an open house. Come by and I'll show you some of the features. Right. Show off the windows. Show off the cabinetry.
Absolutely. It's an awesome thing for other builders. And so
I think it's, I won't say 99% of the time, but I'll say majority of the time, it seems like it's probably forgotten by many builders in our region.
Absolutely.
So it's one of them things that really doesn't cost much to do it.
No.
It's a very small task. Yes, you go buy a couple 30 packs of beer or a couple bottles of wine, whatever.
Right.
In a meat and cheese tray. $100 in, $200 in, it's relatively simple. But it's a big touch point for somebody to have that connection and be able to show that house off.
Right.
So shortly after that happens, we get it re-cleaned.
Yep, we'll clean up from the party and run the Swiffer over everything and wipe down the counters and get everything done, and then that next day, really. Or that night.
Or that night. Whatever.
Yeah, depending on, when technical, closing is or final disbursement of funds and all of that with the bank. But
because that's the hard part. Just back it up for a second. A lot of people think in building a house, okay, so I got this construction loan. I'm building this house on my land. I can come look at my house anytime I want to, or I can come into my house anytime I want to. I own this house. I have control over it. In all reality, that's not true.
Correct.
Because of insurance purposes and things like that, builders technically have, I won't say legal because I'm not a lawyer, but have physical possession to an extent.
They have possession of the physical property.
Right, of the house.
Yeah.
So it's hard because people think oh, I'm just going to stop over after work, see what progress has been done. Which
when we talked about that, when we talked about communication and stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with texting your builder and say, hey, I know that this was going to be happening. Are you going to be around, or is someone going to be around that we can stop by and check it out?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Absolutely.
But don't just show up out of the blue.
Yeah. You can show up, you don't expect to get in the house. Right. Necessarily, because as builders, we're not just going to give you keys or a code to get in anytime you want to.
Right.
Once again, technically it's legal reasons as far as if we're going to stand behind a product, we want to know what's happening to that product.
Correct.
Up until the finish. And it's safety for our clients because things might not be screwed down all the way.
Correct.
Or multitude of different things. Yeah. So it's just, I think it's a misconception for people where they just think they can stop all the time or walk into their house anytime they want to, which they're not going to be able to until we physically hand them the keys.
Right. So that's the move-in date. It may be at the end of the party. It may be the next day. Maybe whenever it is, you're going to get the keys to your house and then...
To your home.
To your home.
It's not a home. It's not a house.
It's not a house. It's a home.
It's a home.
So you're gonna get the keys to your new home, and the thing I think is a little bit different with Wausau is we are going to, hand you those keys and stuff like that. But everybody always struggles to find help moving.
Yeah.
And you always got to convince people somehow. Usually it's with food or alcohol.
Absolutely.
At least my friends, that's the case. So we're gonna have some stuff in the fridge, because you have this beautiful kitchen, but who knows where your pots and pans are? Who knows where all your stuff that was in the pantry is? So we're gonna have some stuff in there.
Let's just put it this way: you never know what Ellen and Dustin are gonna show up with at the door.
Right.
On move-in day. Right.
We're gonna have, and you never know what it'll be in the fridge.
Right.
So
it's always a surprise.
Yeah, and I think that's something that other builders really. This isn't necessarily a tip for if you're working with another builder, because you don't want to ask hey, can you provide pizza for
It's a tip for other builders.
Yeah, other builders who are
beyond your
right. Go above and beyond, because in our business, one of the biggest things to get you more business is referrals.
Absolutely.
And so if somebody asks, hey, how was your process? I know you just built with a house with Ellen and Dustin with Wausau. How did that go? You know what? They were amazing. They did this. They always were communicating stuff. But to top it all off, we were moving and it was a hot day. We were moving in the middle of July or whatever. And they showed up with a cooler full of drinks that were ice cold and, sandwiches and cookies and all this stuff for us, or, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And they showed up with this stuff for us, and it just gave us the momentum to keep moving. And you know what? They even grabbed a few boxes out of the truck and helped bring them in. Other builders, don't just look at it as a transaction. Our business is so relationship focused.
It's similar to, I've learned a lot in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of agents in, our office have done similar things to that.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so many times that you see pictures from the homeowners holy cow, look just what my realtor showed up with, and it's a 12-pack of pop, or it's pizzas, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that little step that might not mean a lot to most people, because it's I don't want to bug them because they're moving. I don't want to, infringe on any of that stuff.
But at this point, you're not bugging them. You've been working with them for how long? At least how you and I look at it is, these people are, like I said, they're not just a transaction. We're working with these people for what? Total 6, 8, 9 months, depending on how
start and finish,
from start to finish. And I think of these people as friends.
Absolutely.
I'm all about making new friends and stuff like that. And so it's the clients we're working with right now, I'm gonna miss getting to talk to them and meet up with them and stuff like that. And luckily we know them outside of Wausau, so I have a feeling we'll still get to know them and stuff. But
it's the thing. What we tell people when we sit down with them, some places you go, and not just with builders, with real estate, with anything,
any kind of business,
any sort of contractor, you're either a number or a name, and that's it.
Yeah.
And as I think people probably have noticed through our process, is we try to eliminate all that.
Right.
And they are more than just a client. They're more than just a number or a name or some job folder sitting on somebody's desk.
Right.
They are what I would say friend, but it's a relationship that just doesn't end after a day, after 6 months, 9 months.
Right.
It goes on for, say, 30 to 60 years.
Yeah.
Because that's the person that you had trusted to build your new home. And however long you're going to live in that home is how long that relationship lasts.
Right.
Because you got to be happy with that home for that long.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're going to want to build another one or do this or that. And
then
you're going to be upset because we steered them wrong or somebody didn't steer them correctly. So what else is there about move-in date?
I think that's really about it. I mean, like we said, these two were pretty short and simple things, but we're gonna make them. They may seem like minute little things, but it's the minute little things that you make a big deal.
Yep.
That I think sets Wausau apart, sets us apart, and can set when you're asking other builders and talking about what's their process and stuff like that. Maybe not these specific little things, but just think about when they're talking through their process, if they talk about the little things, if they talk about, we're going to break ground and we're going to get you to come out and be a part of that.
Right.
It's, if somebody's willing to take the time to have you involved in the little things, then they're going to take care of the big things and you can trust with that.
Absolutely.
So
I think there's one other thing that we can talk about with move-in date. Is hopefully between the housewarming party and the move-in date, we're celebrating our on time.
True.
guaranteed move-in date or the date that we gave them back in like schedule your dream home, around the contract. Yeah. When we gave them that firm price and their move-in date. Mm-hmm. I hope without any Mother Nature having effect on things or any things that are outside of our control, that we're celebrating that on time, that it's either on time
or it's early.
Right. So it's hopefully that we're able to celebrate that.
Yeah.
Which is something that some builders, the number one thing that we've heard, I would say, or the number two thing, top three. Yeah. One of the top things that we've heard from people that we've talked with that have built houses or that are looking at building, that have talked to friends and everything, they're always stressed because it's not what they wanted. Right. Or stressed because of price. Builder said it was going to be this and it was $30,000 more. Right. Or they were stressed because the builder told them, oh yeah, we'll be able to have you moved in 60 days or 90 days.
And then they sell their house and 5 months later, they're still not in. So they're in temporary housing.
And then they find out that it's a month, 2 months down the road. Right. Or a year practically. Which is great. I mean, some builders out there have the option to put you up in temporary housing, rent free or whatever, if you're building a house with them. That's a great option. Yeah. I'm always leery of that.
Because then they can say, well, you're not having to pay for a place to live. That's exactly. We had delays and stuff like that, but don't worry about it. Yeah.
If you're in their housing, in a rental or something like that, why do you have to be there? I mean, obviously, if you sold your house,
if you sold your house quick, but
if you're in there, it's easier to have delays or postpone things, right? Because another job popped up, I wanted to get it done. Yeah. So I mean, there's pros and cons to it, and I think that overall, trust your builder or find a builder that you trust. Right. That's upfront and honest. That's going to tell you all the little things and make a big deal of all the little things. Anything else you want to add about them?
I don't think so.
Next episode is going to be the final touch point of the 3-step building process that Wausau has. So I would say join us on the next episode of Let's Build with
Ellen
and Dustin. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, Let's Build with Ellen and Dustin. This podcast is brought to you by Wausau Homes Waverly. Located in Waverly, Iowa, a panelized custom home builder, building a house your way with a firm price and on time. Be sure to check us out online or on Facebook, Wausau Homes Waverly, or wausauhomes.com. And be sure to check out our next podcast on your favorite podcast platform, however you found this podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next podcast.